And we're live. Good morning if you are joining us live. Good afternoon, good evening. If this is a different time of the day, I am Jen Sugarmeyer, host of Higher in Heels. And if you are joining us live, it is Friday again. I don't know about you, but my life seems to go faster and faster. And all of a sudden, it's Friday again. And so we are here. It's Friday. And not only is it Friday, but it's July 2nd. It's July 2nd, 2021, which means we're halfway through the year. I didn't even realize this yesterday when we went live that this year is halfway over. And I don't know about you, but 2020 was just this blur. And then 2021 happened. And all of a sudden, we're halfway through. And it was my birthday last week, and I'm already sliding into the next year. So that's how that goes. Today, we're going to talk about rest and the importance of rest because we are in such a busy and fast-paced world that it is so important that we make this time for ourselves and that we talk about the importance of rest and relaxation because it is just as important as getting things done. And we're in a society where there's just tons of things and that people can access us at any time. I know people can get a hold of me through email, text, social media. They can call. We've got Zoom. I mean, there are tons of mediums where people can get a hold of us. And we're constantly checking. And, I've got WhatsApp and I've got my regular, SMS text messages and, and I love when people ask, they're like, are you on Marco Polo? And I'm like, I can't, just like one more thing or whatever. Or they're like, what about, Voxer or this? And I'm like, I can only have so many things that I can check. Right. And that's so normal for us in today's society. And I've got Instagram messages and I got Facebook messages and, maybe TikTok and LinkedIn and all of these social medias that we're on. And we get used to just checking all of them and that becomes our norm. And, when COVID happened for many of us at first, as the world was adjusting, we realized really quickly, well, how great is this? We get a little extra time in the morning to sleep in because we didn't have to commute into the office. Many of us that were accustomed to commuting into an office no longer had to do this. And so we got that little bit of extra time in the morning and we got a little extra time in the afternoon. And yeah, what we found quickly, what was happening is that we were starting to just work longer days because that's what we knew. We didn't really know what to do with ourselves in the morning, or just the workload was so high because our coworkers were getting laid off. And so people were working more hours or whatever it may be. I mean, it's different for everyone. I'm just based off of some of the things that I've heard. And what we also found, we used to have meetings where there'd be breaks in between because how could you go from meeting to physically go from meeting to meeting to meeting, especially if you were in sales. I know one of my good friends, she would come into town and she would do sales at, different locations. And so she would meet with the vendors and she'd be able to meet with maybe 3 corporations or whatever a day. That's all you could do. Get from one place to one place, have lunch, go to another place. Your day was over, whatever. Maybe 4. That's probably a lot to have effective meetings. All of a sudden, COVID happens and everyone is reaching out, which is good. There's a need. But now she's on Zoom back to back to back to back to back. And quite frankly, I don't think she's even still started to see her customers. She's back to back to back to back. And she'll tell me days that she's like, Jen, I have met with 12 people today. 12 people. So here she is. And that's, us meeting people is one thing, but then there are action items that come out of that. There are follow-up emails, there are, maybe orders that you have to take, or there's something that you have to do some action item that's coming out of these meetings. We don't just sit in meetings and go, okay, next. There is something that needs to happen. So what does that then do to her day? If she's meeting 12 people in a day or 8 people in a day or even 6 people in a day, that means that she's working even longer hours. So there was this progression that started to happen during COVID, where at first it was like, how do we manage this? Okay, well, maybe this is nice. I can, I'm at home, I get to sleep a little bit more. And then the world started to get comfortable and we started to adjust. And we found that we were working even longer hours. We were fitting in even more meetings. I know for me, I spent a lot of time doing networking meetings and I just pop in and I could be in Australia. I can pop in. I'm talking to people from, Europe. I can pop in. It doesn't matter because we're on Zoom and this is a virtual world. So we don't actually have to be face to face. I couldn't meet all of these people in one day ever unless we had some type of teleporter, because there's no way I could get around the world like I do now. And now that the world is starting to open back up again and people want to meet face to face, we're now having to adjust to not meeting as many people. And that's the truth. So we're just going along as life is adjusting and we're adapting as we go. But what we need to stay focused on is this thing called rest, because we're so accustomed, especially in the United States, we are accustomed to just go, go, go. That's why when you look at our paid time off, for example, if you're in corporate, many companies, it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I've worked for these companies where they're global companies. And in the US, we've had, the honest to goodness, I've been in companies where we've had 2 weeks for those in the United States, and people in Europe will have like 5, plus every bank holiday, which I have no idea what a bank holiday is or why you would need a bank holiday. I have no idea. But there's like, oh, today's a bank holiday. And I'm like, I want my bank to go on break so I can take, I don't even know if that's what bank holiday means. but you get like, not only do you get like weeks off, but then you get like a bazillion paid days off just because it's a holiday. I mean, we get, I don't know, a handful here as well. But I just feel like there's a whole lot going on in Europe. And I was looking at some statistics of the most stressed out countries. And for whatever reason, Greece was the highest. And I'm going to have to look into that one because the Greece is not the one that I would have expected to be on top. The United States was like 7. Now, that I see more. In fact, I'm surprised it's not higher up on the list. I'm surprised it wasn't number 1. But yeah, stress is a huge factor. And these statistics that I was looking at, I mean, this was from back in 2018. So I would be so curious to see after COVID what this looks like and the impact that it's having. But think about what stress does to us. And I hear and I use this example sometimes. I have a friend of mine and she's like, but I have to stress out. I have to be anxious because my kids are going to go to school one day and I have to stress out. And so she puts herself into a state of stress, into a state of anxiety because for whatever reason, she thinks that that's going to produce results for her kids to go to school. I'm like, I don't know. I think you can actually just produce results to get results. I think you can choose how you want to be. I think you can choose to be in a state of stress. You can choose to be in a state of happiness. You can choose whatever you want. And that's a choice that you make. And if you think stress equals results, well, then maybe we need to have a conversation. Like, I don't think that that's really how it goes. But she thinks that that's where we need to operate. And I think that that's common for many people, that we think, no, I have to stress, I have to worry, I have to work myself, keep going, keep going, keep going. And when I was in corporate, I didn't feel like I could take a lunch break, even though they say, yeah, go take an hour for lunch. Now, I didn't clock out. I didn't any of this. I was a salaried employee and we didn't clock in, we didn't clock out. But yeah, you could take an hour and that was common. But I didn't feel that I could take it. That wasn't because my boss said, I know that it says you can, but you actually can't. And you need to be tied down to your desk and you need to eat at your desk where people can come up and talk to you while you're eating. So you actually get 0 break at all. My boss never had that conversation with me. That's 100% what I did almost every single day. It was so rare that I went out to lunch. I just didn't. And I felt guilty. I ran teams and there was part of me that was like, be a good example. And so I would tell them, take your time, go, don't do like me. And I just felt this pressure to be there in the office to, not get out, even though I knew that, you want to lead by example. So I would tell them, don't do like Jen. But how would I feel? I mean, I would feel stressed. I would have no break. And by the end of the day, my brain would be fried. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what has happened today? And I started taking walks at this last company that I worked for. I started, for the last, I don't know, 6 months or whatever, started taking walks at lunch. And it was amazing how my day started to shift. It was like I got this break and I was rejuvenated and I was excited for it. I'm like, well, my first 4 hours are done. I'm going to take a little break for my brain, for my body. And then I only have 4 hours left versus I'm going to sit here for 9, 10 hours, go to meeting to meeting to meeting. Is this day over yet? I had something to look forward to. It broke my day up. It broke my mind up in a good way where I could then just, they say part of your exercise routine needs to be downtime because your body needs to be able to repair itself. So this is at night when you're sleeping, you need to get enough sleep so that your body is resting and the same thing as when you're working out, it's repairing itself overnight. Your body needs that rest. You shouldn't be going 7 days. I work 7 days a week, 2 workouts a day. Like that's not healthy. Your body needs that time to repair and recovery and all of that. I mean, they have supplements out there like recovery supplements, like recovery is a thing. But so many of us don't build it into our lives because we're just not used to it. We're not accustomed to this. It's just this go, go, go. And we get so caught up in this wave. I don't know about you, but sometimes life, it just feels like a tidal wave and it'll just come over you and you just go with it. That's me. I'm not saying that it's not. That's 100% it's me. And and I'll just put a little asterisk. I think that there are times, maybe there's a deadline and you're about to go live with your business and you've committed to the world that you're opening on a certain date and you're having a ribbon cutting and the mayor's coming out and you've got like 5 more hours of work and you're like, I need that sleep time, but I actually need to get this done. Like there are times that you are going to have to assess your own situation and be like, okay, should I just, kind of push through this time just to get it done? And yeah. There are times that there is a deadline and maybe it's not just you. Maybe it's you need to hire people to help support you because you can't do it all. And you need to make those assessments for yourself. But we cannot continue to operate in this, oh, I'm just going to work and meet 12 customers a day. And then I'm going to do all the follow-up work that came from those 12 meetings or 8 meetings or 6 meetings or whatever it was. Like that's just not scalable to continue to do over and over and over. That's why it's so important. When I hear people and they're like, yeah, I haven't taken any of my PTO this year. And it's like, that would just paid time off. So they haven't taken any vacation. And it's like December. I'm like, what do you mean you haven't taken any vacation? Like you need this time off. You should be maxing out all of your vacation every single year. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're not getting paid to take time off, you need to schedule time off. If it's not just going to be given to you to take, you just need to take it yourself. You need to build that into your schedule. So how do we make time for ourselves? So yes, take vacations, but it's not just vacations. I don't want you to take 2 times off a year and be like, I'm rejuvenated, because we need to be doing this constantly. Every single night, we should be aiming to get the right amount of sleep. Every day, we need to be giving our brains some downtime. And you may say, yeah, Jen, but I have kids and I have a spouse and I have all these responsibilities and I take care of my parents and I do this and I do that. And what do you mean? How am I supposed to schedule some downtime? Well, you might have to get a little more creative, but that's for you to determine what's going to fit in your life. And I don't know, maybe it's just hanging out in the closet for 10 minutes eating Pringles. But whatever it is, we need to keep that downtime sacred. So my phone has a bazillion apps. I think most of ours do, where they've got the LinkedIn, they've got the Facebook, they've got the Instagram, they've got all these things. And so when I get messages for them too, like, oh, so and so liked your post, so and so did something, so and so messaged you, blah blah blah. So I can just scroll on that main screen and I see all these things that are happening. And that can be time consuming. It can be enjoyable. It also can be, I mean, just using my brain because maybe I have to respond to something. Sometimes it's completely mindless. Do you ever just get on Facebook and you start looking at like puppies and kitties and like these little videos, and all of a sudden you're like, what am I doing? That might be your downtime, just like because your brain's not thinking about anything. But there's a lot of things in your phone that require brain work. Somebody's emailed you. Okay, hold on. How do I want to respond? Does that sound good? Let me check my work before I do. So there's a difference. So my point is, when I am doing something like working out, I keep that time. That's my sacred time for me. I love working out. I love sweating. That is my time for peace. I'm just clearing my head. I may be kind of thinking about something, maybe my life, my direction, things I want to talk about on the show. I just kind of let my mind wander a bit. Maybe I'm listening to the Bible. Maybe I'm listening to whatever music. I just tune out, whatever it is. But that is my time. What it is not is time for me to get on my phone, catch up on email, do all those things. Like that is literally Jen Sugarmeyer's time to get herself, just her mind in a good space. That is my rest. So I can build that into my schedule because I have more flexibility with my time. I don't have kids and I'm not in a relationship. So whatever that looks like for you, but we have to make that priority. And when I hear people say, yeah, but I don't have time for that, I really want to encourage you to think about where you can shift, what you can do differently, what support you can get to help you get your other things done. Because I do think we make time for what's important. We do. And it is going to be more of a challenge for some of us than others. There have been times in my life where, for a while, I lived with a family and the wife had just passed away and I was helping to take care of the 3-year-old son. And, I was going to school full time. I was working. I was taking care of the kid. Like I was doing the shopping. I was helping to prepare the meals. Like, I get it. I get it. It gets to be so much. But you are the one that has to stand up for you and say, you know what? I need 20 minutes a day. So maybe you get a babysitter for 20 minutes a day, or maybe mom and dad can help watch the kids, or maybe you have a spouse, or maybe there's some mom group and you guys can share and you don't even have to pay, but you take turns. Like Monday's your day, Tuesday's my day, Thursday's whatever. And you guys switch around. So you got to get creative sometimes. So I know some of us, it's like, what do you mean, Jen? I can't take time. Yes, you can. And not only, yes, you can, but like you have to. You have to take that time for you to rest and repair. And again, there are going to be those times where, yeah, maybe you need to just like get through whatever it is that you're getting through. But then you got to take that time and you got to do it consistently. And I don't mean, going on a vacation every other week. I'm not talking about something of that magnitude. I'm talking about 5 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm talking about just these little increments. And maybe you need to build it into your calendar because the truth is, I live by my calendar. So block off some time. Maybe while you're at work, you can take 20 minutes and go take your little smoke break. I know some people go take smoke breaks. Maybe you're like, I'm not a smoker. Okay, we'll just go take those 20 minutes and go walk around the building. Maybe you don't work in a building. Maybe it's walk around the building or your house. It doesn't matter. Walk around the block. Go do something. But you have to build this in. So maybe it is building it into your calendar. Think about when you want to take those vacations. Okay. I'm going to take 2 vacations this year. When are you going to take those? And be very intentional about when that's okay. Maybe I'll take one in March and then I'm going to need another one in August, and that'll be good because in the December timeframe, that's going to be, Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever. And I'm going to have some downtime then, and it's going to be New Year's and all that. Be intentional. So today is just a reminder because we are going into the weekend and I want you to rest. I want you to find some relaxation, and I want you to know that it is okay for you to take this time. And not only is it okay, it's necessary. So this is my gift to you. Be intentional about your time, about your vacations, about your life, because you need this downtime, not just for yourself, but for everyone else. So with that, I want you to have a great weekend this weekend, or great day. I don't know when you're watching this, but for me, it's Friday. And so I'm going to have a great weekend. I'm going to be writing. I'm writing my 3rd book. Yes, I am super excited. It's going to be coming out in the next few months. So I am wrapping things up. Actually, I've got a lot more to do. So I'm going to be writing all this weekend because that is something that I truly enjoy. This is going to be a phenomenal book. So Monday through Friday, we are here every day at 6 a.m. I would love for you to share. I would love for you to subscribe and to like this and to share it with your friends. Go to higherandheels.com. You can grab a free copy of the magazine, and I will see you here on Monday. So ladies, how do we end this? That's right. We're coming up. We want the world to know. We're gonna let it show. How are we coming up? We're gonna come with some rest and relaxation because we need that, right? Because we're coming up. We want the world to know. We're gonna let it show. Go enjoy your day, whatever it is. Go relax for the next 20 minutes. It's whatever. You make that time, but you got to make that time. All right. Love you. See you soon.